Hello everyone, welcome back to Easy Peasy Photoshop. We're gonna have our next lesson today. Today's lesson we're gonna talk about the vector, what is vector, and we will continue working on the tools. We're gonna work on the shape tools and the pen tool, and finally we're gonna talk about the text. So basically today we're gonna finish with all the tools that you have in the left side of your Photoshop. Okay. Let's first talk about what is vector. If you want to really make a definition for the vector, vector is an image that described by the lines and the shape that is stored in a format that incorporate with geometric formulas for the rendering the image element. So it's kind of maybe not easy to understand, but let's have it in a very simple way. Okay. So I have two circles here. Here you can see it in my layer. One is normal layer. The other one, as you see, I have this icon here, which means I made it with a shape. So from the distance, these two is just normal circle. But when you zoom in, you can actually see the one that is in the right side, that one that is the vector, it has the more sharp edges. It's more defined than compared to the one in the left side. The other thing that I can say about the difference between the vector and the raster, actually we call this normal kind of painting raster. So the other thing is, if I make these two images small, okay, then I make them again large again, my raster layer lost the quality, but my vector image is still same. So basically the vector is act like the smart layer, a smart object that we were talk about it in the last lesson. So what this exactly happened, why the vector has better quality and it keep the edges sharp. So just imagine something like that. If you just draw a letter A somewhere in the Photoshop, then you zoom in on top of that, you can see the pixels, the lining, and that's how it works actually. Okay, so you can see the black color, then it's fade to the white, just like the normal image, like the JPEG photos or any other thing. But when you are using the vector, basically you are giving these dimensions, you're giving this shape to the computer. So no matter what is the size of your shape, it automatically will generate it as a colorful layer, or you can even have the transparent layer. So that's actually the real difference between the vector and the rasters. They are opposite each other. If you are just want to draw something, like when you're doing the photo editing or the digital arts, you are using basically the raster. But if you are working for making the logo or some games that you are working on the game assets or the web design, the virtual design, you are gonna use the vector all the time. So let's see how can we create these vector shapes. We gonna create a new file and work on the shape. So here, if you go here, you have your shape tool, which is U is the shortcut for that one. So you can have different kind of shape. For example, if you're on the rectangle, you can create rectangular shape. If you go to the other one, round rectangle, you can see the edges is kind of round. So basically, there is not much difference between them. It's just the kind of shape, like if you have to go the circle, polygon, or the other kind of shapes, or even the custom shapes. You see something like that one. Okay, so basically they are all same. So first let's talk about these rectangular tools, then we talk about these options that we have. First thing I want you guys to go to the window and these properties panel, open this properties panel, so you will have this here. So what we see here, the first one here, you can see it said shape, path, and pixel. What are these? We're gonna talk about them just in a moment. So first, you're gonna choose how do you want your shape be. For example, fill. That means you will have a color in your shape. For example, I click here, then I click on the red. So now I have the red. So if I create a shape, I will have a red rectangular shape. And you see here we have this item here. That means it's not just a normal layer. It's not like that you just create a selection, then color it red. This is a vector layer. Okay. And this one, strokes, you can see you can add some lining around it. Okay. And you can increase how big gonna this line be. Like I give it to how many, like 6 pixels, the length of this, the thickness of this line around it. So basically, if you click on any of them, you can also change the color of this lining. And if you click here, that means you don't want lining at all. The lining will go. You can have the solid color. You can even have gradient color. Like if I click here, see my lining actually it has a gradient from the red to the green. Okay. You can also have texture of the pattern as your lining around it. Okay. And there is also other thing that you can do. For example, if I put it on the solid black color, then I go to my field, and I can do the same thing also for this red area. For example, if I click here, basically I hide the color here. It's completely transparent, and I just have these linings around it. Okay, now I'm gonna fill it. So here you can also change the style of your lining. Okay. And this is the main thing. And you also have in your properties, you have these things. Actually, they are almost the same. You can change your main color, your stroke color. What you have here that you don't have here in the option is this other option here. For example, here, if I put 75, let's see what will happen to my rectangle. You can see it make it make it soft. It's not the sharp anymore. It's look like that you have that you make a selection, then you add the feeder, then you add the color. What will happen, it's like the edges will get soft. So basically it's kind of same like that. You can always change that one. 35, it's less curvy, or you back it to 0, so it will be total a complete rectangle. So, and you can see here we also have these same tools, this same object that we had it here in our selection. Remember that we could add on or we delete part of that. So you can do the same thing here. For example, I have this shape. I want to add another part at the top of that in the same shape. I can just go to the combine shape. Then I draw that thing. So this part is add on here. But as you see, even my selection, even this part that I add, it's made by the vector. Okay. For example, I go here, make it like that. Here, now I make this place empty. So that's how you can actually add or create other things. If you are in the new layer, then you just make another shape. For example, I make the shape here. We can see your shape automatically created in the another new layer. As long as you are here, that means whenever you want to create something, it will create a new shape in the new layer. It's not going to add on in your main shape. So again, if I make another one here, if I make another one here, you can see that it's automatically will create new layers here. We can also merge all these layers together, but you're gonna lose. Actually, it's like they bend all these shapes together. You just click on them and Control E. If you place on that one, now all your shapes become one layer. So actually, that's how you can do that. You can also do it with the normal layers. If you have even the normal layer, for example, I have a normal color here. I have normal color here, then let's see, I have a line here. They are in the two different layer. What you're gonna do, you put here, you hold the left control, you can select the other layer, then Control E, and these two will be merged together. Now they are both in the same layer. So that's how you can merge your layer together. Okay. So basically, the rest of them, they are almost the same. They have exactly the same options. Some of them, they have something extra, like this one. You can change this. This is the same that you have here, but if you are in rounded rectangle tools, you will have this option here. Still, even if you make it 0 here, it will become a normal rectangle. So here in the normal rectangle, you don't have that one. In the rounded rectangle, you have this, but doesn't matter. Even if you're using the first tool, you will find this option in your properties section. So you have ellipse that you can create circles, and polygon. Here you can basically create polygons with any type of the number of sides that you want. What you're going to do, you just simply click here, how many sides. For example, I put it on the 3. Now actually I have a triangle. You can put it on the 10. See? So that's actually only things that they have here. Okay. And line tools. So basically you're gonna create a perfect line. You can see how the edges are sharp. It's perfectly working. If you make this line bigger or smaller, nothing will change. And any of these shapes, you can use actually the Control T, free transfer. You can move them, you can rotate them, just like any other layer. Okay. So, and at the end we have custom shape tools. What is it? So here you have some preset in your Photoshop. Okay. But you can download more shapes if you want. You can even create your shape and add it here. For example, this one. You can go over the internet and just say search shapes for the Photoshop. Okay. And what you're gonna do, you just click here, load shape, and go to the place that you saved that one and click on the load. Just the same as the style, how we add a style to the Photoshop. Here again, you have also other preset. For example, we go to animals. Let's see what we have to the animals. Here, you can create cat or dog. And you see, whenever I put, it's exactly, let's make another one. You see, it put these dots here. That actually it generate these dimensions for the computer. Exactly the same picture that I show you at the start. You see this? So basically when you're doing like that one, you give these points to the computer, and no matter how is the size of your layer, it will generate it automatically and be completely clean with the perfect sharp edges. Okay, so that's how we create shapes perfect. Okay, and there is an important thing about it. We cannot edit the vector shapes with the other tools that we have here. For example, if I have this here, I cannot use my brush, just exactly as a smart layer option. We cannot edit the smart object. As you remember, we have to go to the layer, then we go to the smart object, then we had the edit content here. Okay, so for the shape, we don't have these options at all. We cannot edit this. Okay, but what if I want to add like the color here? I want to have a very simple pink color here, not the vector, just a normal color. What I'm going to do, I create another layer. Okay, and for example, I paint over here this pink. Okay, now I want that this pink color that I have be exactly inside this circle. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, okay, so one way is to like you do it like that, you decrease it, the opacity, then you perfectly go select all the area here, then you delete this layer so it will be perfectly on top of the circle. But a fastest way is that when you have your layer, you put this top of this other layer, then you hold the Alt key. See what will happen to my mouse? The hand will change to this. There is like a arrow going down. If I click on that, see, this layer went inside this. The terms for this action is clipping. So basically, I clip this one, this layer inside this. No, I can move it, I can add on it, I can erase on it, everything I do, but only this part will show, only the part that is inside this red circle will be shown. For example, if I have this image, I want my image be inside that circle, okay? What I'm gonna do, I just press Alt key, I click here, now this is inside it. Now I can make it smaller, larger, or easily move it around without any problem, okay? And when you do something like that, if you add a style, for example, let me hide this. If you add any style, for example, I add this kind of style here, okay, for example, only one is enough. Then if I put an image inside this, my image also has this style. As you see, this shadow here. So basically, we can use it easily for making any design. Like if I have the glue here, glue. See, whatever happens in my main layer, it also happens to the one that is clipped inside. And you can make unlimited layers. Like if I have 1, 2 other layers, all I need to do is to just go there, hold the Alt, do it like that. No, they are all inside this circle. Like this layer, if I draw something here, it's just happened inside this circle, and it has this effect on it. Okay, so actually that's what you can see they do in the design. That I have a sample here. Like when they make something like that, for example here. So basically what they did here, they create this shape here, and they clip these pictures, these city pictures, inside that. So it's look like we cut this image. Then they put another shape here. They reduce the opacity. It's just a black shape. They reduce the opacity. It's become like that. And finally, I have one blue shape here. And if you see here is darker, here is brighter. So what they did is they just put a gradient from the dark blue to the blue here. So as you see, with only using the shapes and this style, you can already create things like that, like the brochure. All right. So this was about the shape. But if you go to select any of these, you can see you can change here shape, path, pixel. If it's on the shape, that means you are creating a vector layer. If it's on the pixel, when you create something, as you see, it's not making another vector layer. It's just a normal layer. It's exactly using the pixel. Actually, it's the raster layer now. If I make it smaller, then if I make it larger, actually I'm going to lose the quality. You see what happened at the edges? This white thing will appear. So basically it's look like you are making a selection, then just add color on it. It's exactly become like that. If it's put you at the pixel, so sorry. So you are not gonna creating the shapes and the vector layer anymore if you put that on the pixel. What is this path? This path is actually kind of selection. Okay, when you are in the path, as you can see, you cannot have any color anymore. See, if I put it on the shape, you have this color outline, but if you go to the path, you don't have this one. What this path do, it's actually you are selecting something. Okay, so you are selecting something, but in the vector way. Okay, we're gonna talk about it in a while. Just hold on. When we go to this pen tool, I'm gonna tell you what exactly this path option will do. Okay, so for now, let's go here, see what is this pen tool. Okay, so here I can create shapes, but it's like they are the geometric shape. What if I want to create a vector, but not in any of these shapes, something random? For example, just imagine that I want to create a shape like this. So I don't have anything here like that one, and maybe in my custom shape tools I don't have anything that it will be close, even close to this drawing that I have here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this pen tool. Okay, let's see how this pen tool will work. I click somewhere. See, actually at the top in my option bar, it's exactly look like the shape tool. All the options are still same. You can add the color, you can add the lining, change the style of the lining. Everything is exactly the same. But the difference is you can here create your own shape. Remember here, for example, if I have this, I already told you guys that as you see there are these points given to the computer and it generates the shape. So what we're gonna do with this pen tool, actually we're gonna give this point to the computer, so it will generate the shape itself. I go here, I click here. This is my starting point, okay? And I give another starting point, another point. For example, I want my next point be here. I want my next point be here. You see, when I have already 3 points, it's already created shape. My shape is right now, it's like that because I have just 3 points. So I put another point here, put here, 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 and when I go here, that circle will appear, just exactly the lasso tool when we are working with the lasso tool. So I click here, and now you can see I have my shape layer, different shape. But as you see, all the edges are so sharp. How can I make this curvy like as we have it here? It's easy. See, whenever I go somewhere between these 2 points, as you can see, there is something, the plus appeared. That means I can add a new point. I add a point here, then I hold the control, left control. As you see, my mouse will change to an arrow. Then I can now move it in the side. So if I move it here, now I have this curve here. Again here, I click here, I hold the left control, I make another curve here. And if you go to any of these points, for example, if I make a point here, but I don't want it, I want to delete this point, it's easy. You just go on top of that, you see there is a minus will appear beside your mouse, you click on that, you remove that point. For example, from here to here, I want to have a curve, but I already have a sharp point here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this sharp point, I make it in a straight line, then I click here, then I use the left control. You can see I can create my perfect curve here. Right. So here again, I can create another perfect curve here. Here also, I will remove them. So whenever you want to have a curve, you need to remove your sharp point. For example, here, if I want to have a curve, there is no problem because I don't have any sharp points here. So I can easily just create another point, move it down. And again, here to here, I can just click here and move this down. This sharp point, I don't want it. I remove it. I create another point, I move it up, for example here, and finally here I'm gonna remove that also. You can also play, if you click on any of these points, you can see you have two more point, is the like the side point. What this side point doing, if I click on them, I can also move them. So basically I can change the angle of my curve, see, or I can even make it wider or more thin. So it's like that. That's how you can create your own shape, okay? But you need to work on it so you become perfect on it. For example, if I really want to make this shape, I'm not gonna put lots of dots. Basically, what is best to do is to just point just the main one, like here, then the other one here. See what am I doing this time? I try to create the same shape, but in the better way. It's more curvy because I didn't put much of the extra points that I have here. So that's how simple you can create your own shape. Again, let's see if we have an example here that we work. For example, let's open this. You can see here, basically this design is just one shape here. Let's actually just make it here. See what they. So basically, that's what they did. They create a shape here. This is the ending point. See, that's it. That's the shape that they made here on the top. Then they have another shape here. Then another shape here, another white, but with the lower opacity. Maybe they're like 50% opacity, 50% opacity. Then they just use this option here of the drop shadow. Put the shadow like that to this side, and they change the size. See, that's it. Basically, we created the same thing that they have here. So that's how you work with the shape. You can create anything that you want. And now let's talk about that path, the one that I told you guys. We can change it here to path. Okay, so again, if you change this to pixel, you're gonna do all the things, but the things that you actually, your shape that you created, it won't be a vector layer. It just be a normal raster layer. Okay, so let's see how I'm gonna use this path. For example, I want to work on this. So we already know how to select it. If I want to select this image, okay? If I want to select this image, like I just bring the issues out. So what I'm gonna do, you already know. I need to select it like with my lasso tool. Then I start deleting my selection area, or I can use my magic wand, then delete my areas, right? And or I go to my eraser, magic eraser tool, do that one. So there are lots of ways, okay? Or magnetic lasso tool, okay? There are lots of ways to do that, but which way is the best way to make the selection? The most professional way and the one that makes the most clear selection is that you are using the path. What that means, I'm gonna do the same thing. For example, I click here, then I give another point here. So this is my line. It's exactly like creating the shape. You can use your control, then moving it, give these curves, other things. Okay, for example, do it like that one. Okay, we're not gonna actually do all the thing because we just want to make a sample for you guys. Okay, now I have a path. What I'm gonna do, you go into the Windows and you turn on this path panel. Actually, this is the one we want only. If you have other things, you can just close it around it. And put it here in our Windows, here beside our Windows. Okay, path. You can see there is something appear here as a work path. Okay, that means this is the selection that I have. So what I'm gonna do, I just hold my left control. I go here. See how the icon changes. When I click my left control, that item will come, and I make a left click. Now I selected my path. Now I can delete the layer behind it. See, the edges is very good, very perfect. That's the way the most of the professional people use the selection. Even for the photography, photo editing, when they want to select something, they will use this path. It's much way cleaner. You can play with this curve that you have. So even if you mess up something, you can easily go and change the curving there. And the important thing is, when you're working with the path, you can always save your path. How can I gonna save my path? I just double click here. I change it, for example, to path 1. Okay. Now, if I use my pen tool, create another selection here. For example, I select this area. For example, this area. Okay. Sorry. You have this path 1 here. You click here, new path. Then you make another selection here. Okay. Now, again, if I go make my left control here, I can select here and delete here. But I also have my other pack. So whenever I want to select that area, I can easily go do the same thing. You know, when you do the normal selection, like if I select here, then I'm done here with this other selection tools. When you select this area, then you're done. Then you select here. For example, you delete here. You cannot go back to the previous selection anymore. It's already gone. But when you are using the path, you can save your selections. So anytime that you want to select that area again, you just simply go there, hold the left control and make a click. You will select that area. Actually, the way that we click here, you can do it in any kind of layers. For example, same here. As you see, I have 2 different layers. Even here in your layers, if you go on top of any of them, hold the left control and then make a click, you will select that area. So again, you go click. Now you select the other circle. So you can actually do that also with the layer. But with the path, what you're gonna do, you are saving your selection. So don't think about these other things. Basically, they are the one that I already told you guys. Like if you are making the selection, then if you want to add a point, you just go here, you click, it will add. Then if you want to remove it, you just easily go there. Then it's automatically changed to the minus, then you can remove it. So basically, the other tools, they are the same. Like this one just adding the point, and this one is just deleting the point. So not much use. This is the just use with the first one, the pen tool. Now you also have something like the Freeform Pen Tool. This time you're not gonna click on the points. You're not gonna click like here, here, here. It's actually look like this lasso tool, the one that I said is good when you are using with the graphic pen. So you can also do the same thing. Like I want to create a shape here. Let me make a new document. So I go to my free pen and I just make a click, then I just move it around any shape that I want, then I remove it. See, it automatically make this selection for me. I can even go into the shape, then I create something like that. See, it create my path here as a shape because I put it on the shape. So it's not much accurate again, This is the best one that you can use, because actually here also when you're done you can move your points, you can add your points, you can remove your points. Okay, but the best thing is that you're always using this pen tool. This is more professional. So this is for our vector tools, and let's talk about the text tools. Well, it's something simple. It's basically you're typing with it. Click here on the text, so you can see you have the horizontal and the vertical. If you're on the horizontal, you type in the normal way. If you're on the vertical, basically you type up to down, something like, it's like you are typing Chinese, something like that. Okay. So simple. You select the area, you can put what's the size of this text. It's something normal. It's look like you're using the Word. You can use the font, like I changed to this font. You can make it italic, or sometimes some of them, for example, if, let's see, let us, all right. 33, okay. We can have it like, make it italic, make it bold. See? It's simple, it just look like the word. The difference here is not all of your font can be italic, bold, or other things. You need to download them separately. For example, when you download this particular font, okay, you can see, for example, it's the name of the font, then in the front of it, it has regular, bold, italic, other stuff. For example, and this font, this one, it just have regular and the black one. That's only, it doesn't have the italic or the bold one. So it's important if you have on your font, if that font that you downloaded, it has the bold, italic, or the other styles. They are not always the same. Okay, for example, see, I changed my font to other thing. This one has more option. This one has italic, bold, different kind of bold and italic together. Okay, so let's see what else we can see there. You can also do the aging of your font. For example, I put A here, it's sharp, then I make it to strong. This is the aging of your file will be changed. Like I make this smooth. So this one is sharp, this one is smoother. And you have this option here. So basically, if you have lots of, for example, you create lots of words here. If you select all of them, if you click here, they become left to right, like the English one. If you click on here, it's more look like the Arabic characters. It's from the right to left. And if you put here, they will be all at the center. It's exactly like the options that you have in the Word or any other program that you are typing with it. You have two options here. This one, if you click here, even the character panel and the paragraph panel will be pop up. It's also the same. You can do the things here, like you can make it bold, you can make it italic, you can put line under it, you can change the distance between the lines, you can change the distance between the words itself. That's it. Just exactly the same things that you can do in the other program. Nothing special about it that you can say it's just for the Photoshop. And finally, for example, I write here peace. This one, this is just for the Photoshop. If you click here, you can choose some style for your text layer. For example, if I make it like arc, then of course you can change some options I need. This is another one. You have lots of these, right? Now you can always go on different object here, options to give some art in your text layer. And the text layer, I'll always like that. Here in your layer, you can see there is like the text layer. They also count as a vector layer. If you make them larger or smaller, they never lose the quality. Like if I make it that small, then I still make it larger. It's still perfect. The quality is not changing because they are actually kind of shaped. They are also vector layers, your text layers. Again, you cannot edit there. For example, you cannot add a brush or something like that one. If you want to, like, I want this P at the top of that big red, you cannot do that. But again, you can create a layer, you clip it inside, and now that I have a normal layer, I can add the color at the top, okay? But the best way is, if you want to add colors or you want to have effect like that one, you just simply use your style. For example, you go to the gradient. See, you can actually use, okay, you can use the gradient. So the good thing is, if you're using the style, then you change the size of your text, or even if you are working with the shape. If you just use with the style, if you change the size of your shape, it doesn't lose the quality. Because if you just use the clipping, for example, I make this red line here. I create this red line here, okay? This is good now, but the problem is, if I make this small, then I again make it big. Of course, my text layer doesn't change quality, but the normal layer that I had here, it lost the quality because we make it smaller than we make it larger. So this is very important for you guys. When you are working with your shape or any vector object that you are using, better is that if you want to add some effect on them, always use the style button here. So that was about the text, but there is something important I need to tell you guys. Actually, it's a flashback from the old time that I promised you guys that I'm gonna talk about it before. Let's see, I make a layer here. I type it and make it large. Okay. Now I will add some style on it. Let's have some drop shadow like this one. Higher opacity. We also embarrass this. Make the depth harder. This soft. So I have something like this. So remember when we were talking about layers, I told you guys about the opacity. That if you reduce the opacity, basically you're making your layer hidden. If it's 0, that means you cannot see that all. If it's 50%, that means we just see 50%, the rest is passed through, okay? And those time I told you guys that I'm gonna talk about the fill another time, okay? So what exactly fill does, and what's the difference between the opacity and the fill? If I reduce my fill, you see my layer will start getting hidden, but the style, the effect that I put, they are still there. That's the difference between the fill and the opacity. If I reduce the opacity, everything will go, my text layer or any kind of layer that you have, with the effect at the same time. But if I change the fill, only my main layer will be hidden, and the rest of my effects, they are still there. So that's the difference. You can create your own design with this two optionally. Like if I make it like that, you see, it's already like an option. It's already look like a design. So that was the difference between the fill and the opacity.